But he reminded me that all the things that he did well as a player and as a coach, he benefited from those things by doing things when nobody was looking. He would practice at night catching footballs. Not that they played football at night back then when he played, because they didn't. It was almost always a daylight game. But he practiced at night because it was so hard to see the ball that he had to learn how to grab it with a second's notice. And his ability to grab the football tightly when he saw it got better from practicing at night in the dark. And he told me that story, and it stuck with me. You will always get rewarded for the things that people don't see you doing. And it's true. You really, when people go, "Oh my God, Chris, this is unbelievable. You're unbelievable." Well, whatever that compliment is, it came from me doing things when nobody was looking. And then the third thing he told me is treat people fairly. Don't be too nice to them because they'll probably take advantage of you. Don't be not nice enough to them because you're taking advantage of them. He gave me an example. Whenever he saw a fan or a kid coming into this restaurant and they wanted to shake his hand, even though he had horrible arthritis, he gave him his hand. He said, "I'm going to give that fan my hand, and I'm just going to do that thing for them because that's what they want me to do, and that's the least I can do."
Yeah, it's such a small gesture, but you don't need to understand what that might mean to someone. You
Oh,
know, you
unbelievable.
and I have been around a lot of celebrities, so we don't necessarily get as starstruck anymore, though there are still some that I would be probably starstruck from. But you know, a kid to meet someone like Mike Ditka or Brady, and for them to have a bad experience with them, and it happens, and it's not always because that person's not a nice person. They could be in a rush or whatever. But the people who, I see people who take time and make sure they sign for everyone that they can, and they shake hands, and they take a photo. Um, I have a lot of respect for those people.
Absolutely. And Mike was always known and is always known as being a fan of the people. He was the coach of the people. People loved him. And that was the thing, that those three things stood out to me from having dinner. And here's the crazy thing. He didn't owe me that dinner. We weren't lifelong friends. He did that because I made him laugh at a couple of things. And he just liked me. And he literally said, "Come have dinner with me. I'd love to just sit down with you." He asked me to come have dinner with him. And I
And
thought to myself,
at the end of the day, they're regular people who.
well, not everybody, not everybody.
No, I know, but most of these people are regular. It's what they choose, how they choose to do it. But if it's not you, it's someone else. They're probably asking to go to dinner. It could be a friend, it could be a celebrity, but they're doing the same stuff that we're doing. They're going out to dinner. They're
They are,
going
but
out to.
a lot of celebrities like to be alone. They like to not have the
I
people
get
coming
that.
on
I
their space.
understand that. I personally, if I ever had that, or if I was that, I just would understand that it sort of comes with the territory, and it's one of the things that, look, it's just part of what's going to be, and your rewards are way, way greater than whatever hardship you have to go through with, if you want to call it that, shaking someone's hand, taking a photo, having an autograph,
Well,
sitting.
the thing with Mike too is when he shook his hand, when he shook people's hands, if you didn't know him, people like gave him a nice good grip, and it hurt his knuckles like crazy. Like, he had horrible arthritis back then. He probably has it now, even worse. And it was painful for him sometimes to get a handshake. And sometimes he would just pat people on the back. And if you looked at his hands, they were swollen. The knuckles were all swollen, and the fingers went in different directions. And for him to do that on any level, I had mad respect for that. And that's one of the things that I truly believe makes him a legend, because he literally was a legend to the people. He never got too far above the average person. He really understood that he was just part of the community.